What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one, the only, Ash Said It, ashsaidit.com, ashsaidit.com. Welcome to the Ash Said It Daily Podcast Show. I appreciate you guys for all of your love and support. Over 1,700 episodes and 500,000 streams worldwide. None of this would be possible without you guys, so I thank you so very, very much. And yes, we are well into the summer months, darlings. Spirits are flowing, so why not support some independently Black-owned businesses? Today we've got with us from Uncorked and Cultured, the wonderful Angela. Hey, Angela.
Hey, Ash. Thank you so much for having me. I hope you're well.
I am well. How are you doing today?
Well, I'm in sunny California, so I'm doing very well, and I'm about to drink a whole bunch of wine this month, so I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, my goodness. I am envious right now, Angela. I mean, California has good weather year-round. You know, there's never a question in California. I'm here in the A-Town. I'm holding down Atlanta, and it's looking kind of crazy today, Angela. But we're making it work.
Sis. I mean, I live in Harlem, and we got hit with a heat wave, and who knows what's next? All that humidity and temperatures up and down.
Okay, so to start things off, how did Uncorked and Cultured come about?
Uncorked and Cultured started as a Facebook group. So I had the pleasure and blessing traveling around Africa right before the pandemic started. I went to 6 countries in 6 weeks. It was my Freedom 40 journey. My last stop was in South Africa, where I was hanging out in Cape Town and was able to visit Stellenbosch, which is one of their major wine regions in South Africa. And in that time, I had a chance to meet a Black woman winemaker and a woman that owned her own vineyard. And in that process, I really learned about South African culture when it comes to the wine. You know, wine's been planted in South Africa since the early 1700s. So they have this wine industry transformation unit that's trying to create equity in the region. And they're all being led by Black women. And the thing that really stood out the most to me during that encounter was that even the woman who I met with, her name is Vivian, and she's the founder and owner of Seven Sisters. You know, her brand is actually available in the United States, in Walmart, Whole Foods, and some of the other retailers. Yeah. But the interesting thing is her number one consumer is Black women in America.
Wow.
She doesn't even sell her own brand in her own country, which to me is astonishing, and it just goes to show the disparities, you know, in the wine industry. And so when I came back from that trip and I was settling back, you know, in Harlem, and COVID hit, of course, we all were affected pretty drastically. I realized that a lot of people was consuming wine. There was news articles, you know, I was seeing people on my timeline, you know, purchasing cases of wine and having it delivered to their doorsteps. So I was like, if they're buying wine, then they could be buying wine from me. So I wanted to figure that out and how I was able to do that. So I created Uncorked and Cultured as a Facebook group after becoming a Boissé ambassador, which is a direct sales marketing revenue stream where I represent 25 vineyards around California as well as France. A lot of our wines are exclusive. We carry a John Legend LVE brand, and I realized that I wanted to create a space to identify who in our community were actually interested in wine, because, you know, I never really took wine seriously, but then I found really quickly that there's a huge demographic of Black wine enthusiasts, but then I also realized that there's a huge disparity in the industry. You know, wine is a $70 billion industry with 0.01% being owned and having equity by Black people. So clearly there's a lot of work to do in the world's largest industry. People have been here before me doing it. There's a lot of amazing organizations doing the work, you know, creating pipelines. I'm just trying to create a location, a destination, you know, for Black consumers to learn and be aware of all the Black wine entrepreneurs out there that fall into the 3-tiered wine distribution, you know, chain. And that's where we came up with subconsciously to really be that destination.
Yes. Now, approximately how many brands are involved in the directory?
Well, you know, it's the directory, the subconsciously directory is a growing list. So right now we have almost 100, you know, companies listed. You know, the actual directory is curated by Dr. Monique Bell. She's a professor over at Fresno State. She's also a researcher, and she's recently did one of the first studies on Black consumerism and Black wine professionals and enthusiasts. So where she interviewed, you know, over 100 people. She's gotten a lot of amazing data and insights on our trends when it comes to consuming wine and our role and some of the roles that we play in the development and cultivation of it, and also education. And so, with her, academia and her research chops, and then of course me being the publisher of Uncorked and Cultured, I felt like it was a great, perfect destination for us to start really creating that resource so that we can be conscious consumers and being intentional in the way we spend our dollars and supporting the Black economy.
Why do you feel as though Black people are not represented in the wine industry?
Well, I think when it comes to the wine industry, it's all about exposure, right? I mean, even though wine is the world's oldest industry, its dominant presence is in Europe. We all know France is like the creme de la creme, quote unquote, wine region in the world. However, wine is grown all over the world, in every continent for the most part. Australia, Europe, North America, South America, as well as Africa. When you think about it, a lot of families in Europe, they consume wine from an early age, generational. A lot of the wine companies or vineyards that exist are generational, multi-generational. I just left Lodi, California, which, has been planting grapes since the 1880s. And has some of the world's oldest salt vines. Literally, there's 5-6 generations of winemakers and wine growers in that region. And but yet, there's a huge influx of newcomers that are coming in. And so I think the reason why Black people have a larger stake in it is that we're not exposed to wine. I mean, I don't know. Were you drinking wine? Did your family drink wine at the dinner table when you were growing up?
No, wine was something that, we weren't drinking wine at the table, but I come from a West Indian background, and wine was something that was always incorporated in food, as far as like maybe a dessert or like a cake or something, but never like, just, let's go bust out a glass of wine. No, that was never something that we had in our household.
Right. I mean, and that's real. I mean, the Caribbean makes other type of beverages like sorrel and, other, type of drinks, and that's from hibiscus. So, when you look at the regional and then, of course, what the crops and what the agriculture is like, that also dictates a lot of the consumption. I grew up in a predominantly Black community, and when I was in college, the only wine that was available to us was like Thunderbird, Arbor Mist, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like
so
Bloom Farms, and that's not even real wine. Like,
no.
That's, really like malt beverage type, mass-produced kind of like, beverages. And so, it's also just about access. And I feel like now with cities gentrifying, with, income bracket increasing, people traveling more and, living abroad and just exposing ourselves to new things, we're starting to, of course, join into the wine culture. And in doing that, I want Uncorked and Cultured to help define wine culture for Black consumers, as opposed to us trying to fit into a framework that's been ignoring us as consumers since this conception. So the directory connects wine lovers with brands, distributors, and retailers to provide a solution for our lack of inclusion.
Now, Angela, a little birdie told me that you guys have something cooking up for Juneteenth.
Yeah, so we wanted to create this amazing experience and journey to share content and also an experience that's centered in culture, elevation, celebration, and of course reconciliation, right? Because Juneteenth is a holiday that I didn't grow up celebrating. So I don't have a tradition celebrating Juneteenth. Like, this is, I didn't learn about Juneteenth until I was an adult. America's education system likes to refrain and erase history. So I want to create a celebration that can also make us feel like honor for our ancestors, but also to have us realize that we've come a long way. Yeah. And so through this Napa crawl, our Juneteenth Napa crawl, we've curated a 5-day experience where we're taking our attendees and guests to meet Black winemakers, to go to Black vineyards, to consume Black wine. And some of them will be for the first time. Wow. And so we have people flying in from all over the country, primarily media professionals, wine enthusiasts, influencers, as well as like California-based officials, government officials, and people of that sort. So it's a really curated group of people that we invited because we felt like this is our first effort. We wanted to keep it small. And of course, with just the world just starting to open up, we wanted to make sure that we were respectable and making everyone feel safe. And so, we're visiting Raymond Vineyards in Napa. We've partnered with the Napa Valley Vintners, which is an association that represents the appellation here in Napa County, or Napa Valley, rather. And they are supporting our efforts in this. We're going to one of the most prestigious vineyards, Raymond, and which also produces John Legend's wine. So we'll have a chance to do a private tasting of his LVE Legend Vineyard exclusive. We're also going to be visiting J.Moss, which is a Napa-based winery. Theopolis Vineyards. She's a Delta and Spelman grad. Okay. And, lawyer by day, winemaker at night.
All right.
As well as Phil Long. We're also getting support from Phil Long. He's the owner and winemaker at Longevity Wine, and he's also the president of the Association of African American Vintners. So we have a nice situation going on, and a lot of support from some of the major organizations in the wine space. So we're grateful.
Definitely, that sounds like an amazing celebration.
Yes, and then during this for the reconciliation side of it, and to honor our ancestors, we're going to be on one of the first Black woman-owned vineyards, where it's just one Black woman-owned vineyard in the region, further up north in Mendocino County. It's not actually in Napa, but we'll be with Theodore Lee, and she's from Texas, so her mother used to celebrate Juneteenth, and she'll share those memories that her mother shared with her. We'll do an ancestral meditation with author Stacey Lloyd, as well as a floral workshop with the founder of Postal Petals, that's based in Los Angeles.
I love it. Now, Angela, where do people need to go if they want to get some more information on this event and to keep up with everything that you guys are doing?
Well, definitely go to our website, uncorkedandcultured.com, where you can definitely read our articles. We are a media company, so we will be publishing articles about the Black experience in Napa that we're creating to hopefully inspire other people to take those type of journeys and support these businesses. We also have our Subconsciously directory right on the website, so you can actually go there and browse and see some of the amazing winemakers from all over the world that we've curated, and that list is growing, so definitely come back, make sure you check in. But you'll also be able to see our Subconsciously digital series that we're launching. We've already released 2 videos. One of them is with Sunshine Foss, the founder of Happy Cork Brooklyn, where she's pretty much the singular retailer in the country that's committed to, only providing Black and minority-owned wine and spirits in her shop, and she's shipping all over the country. So you'll be able to learn more about her through that video. And then, of course, you can follow us on Instagram at Uncorked and Cultured, just spelled out. And then, of course, we would love if you can subscribe to our YouTube, because we're going to be putting out some amazing videos this summer when we do our official launch of the Subconsciously series.
Perfection. Angela, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you beyond words.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. So, you got to keep me up to date with stuff, because I know as the months go on, there's going to be some more announcements. I like to have exclusives, Angela. I'm just putting that out into the universe.
Okay.
So keep me...
Well, this Juneteenth, the Juneteenth Napa call, talking to you about it is an exclusive. So you're the first that I've talked about it publicly. So there you go.
That.
There goes your first exclusive.
All right. I like it. I love it. Let's go ahead and keep that going. So I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much for your love and support. Keeping in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do. You look them square in the face. You tell them, don't believe me. Just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. That's what we're doing this for, the history books. Social media is nice, but real life is so much better. Until next time, you guys.